Alright, good evening everyone. It is October 9th. We're starting this meeting calling to order at 6:03 p.m. So, hello. If you don't mind, as we do with every meeting, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now a moment of silence as we think about those who have gone before us. Thank you. Okay. Hi, Deb, welcome. No, all good. Roll call, please.
Trustee Sauer.
Here.
Trustee Alter. Here. Trustee Shetting.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Bobby Ryan.
Here.
Absent at the moment is Trustee Hanselman, and Trustee Lowry will be absent, and then Mayor Rob Allen.
I'm present.
And Village Attorney Allen.
Hello and welcome. Alright, a couple requests that I wanted to pass on to everyone. First off, there was a request made by the Lions Club to use Wood Park on December 7th for the sale of Christmas trees as they have done in the past. Any issues with that?
No.
Looking for a motion to approve the use of the Wood Park by Lions Club for that purpose on December 7th. Thank you. Deb and Doug second. Dan second. Someone second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Great. Second one, this actually came in yesterday, and today I got to speak more about it. If you recall, last year we got to use the Greenway for the first time for the local cross-country team, Hoosick Falls Tamarack team. They want to do another cross-country meet in almost exactly the same way on Tuesday, October 22nd. I spoke with Kenny about it. Everything is fine and squared away. The only thing we have to figure out is the bathroom situation. I feel like last time we did it, Kenny, remind me, I feel like someone had porta potties handy and donated them.
I think so, yeah.
So that's the only thing.
Somebody had porta potties handy? Oh yeah, I had
Yes.
some in my bag.
Absolutely. No, I think they keep them down here for like youth sports.
They used to. I can reach out to a couple guys and get some.
Please reach out, but I'd like to see that happen. And if there's a bill attached, I'm sure the school would be okay with that. But we'll.
Just you gotta kind of give me an idea where you want to put them.
I will get that from Coach. So if it's all right with you guys, I'm looking to approve the use of the Greenway and the area down here for a Hoosick Falls Central / Tamarack home meet for cross country on Tuesday, October 22nd. Technically, it's from about 4 to 6 p.m., but there'll be some setup time and such. Doug, all right, Dan, thank you. Second, Doug, thank you. Any further questions, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Brilliant. Carries. Thank you. I am ecstatic to see the Greenway being used for that. Alright, moving forward, I just have a few quick updates to put up there. First off, regarding our New York Forward proposals, at the most recent LPC meeting, the LPC was given sort of the ranked responses from the people on the LPC who reviewed and evaluated all of the proposals, and also incorporated feedback that we had gotten from our public session. One of the big items was that our proposal for the municipal building was rejected and removed from the list from consideration. Now, we had presented that as two things: a smaller improvement of just the bathrooms, the ADA ramp, and the front lobby, and then a larger expansion of the municipal building. The reason that they rejected both of them, not just the expansion building but the smaller one, was because they're pretty confident that there is funding capabilities through HCR to go for a project like that. But regardless of that proposal has been completely removed from consideration.
What is HCR?
Homes and Community Renewal Department for New York State. Additionally, one of the big items that has been talked about is the Monument Park, which again will not be named Monument Park, that's just a placeholder at this point. But this is the former Oak Mitsui location. The main thing that I wanted to just quickly no, this wasn't what I meant to talk about. Well, there's no really big difference, but it sounds like the smaller version of that is probably going to move forward. I don't see the bigger one happening, but that's okay. I meant to actually put in the Murphy building, so my apologies, but I wanted to discuss the Murphy building, not Monument Park. One of our proposals was to purchase or acquire the Murphy building from the county and relocate our police department and court over to that location for better usage of space. That one scored very low on the threshold of the LPC responses. I have been reaching out to the county for about a week and a half to try to get a phone call and get some direction. I have not gotten any responses from some emails and some texts other than we're going to look into it. I know that Sergeant Hudson did also reach out directly to a couple of our local legislators. Seemed that we would get a response, but I still haven't gotten a response yet, so I am concerned. Even if the proposal were to be accepted by the LPC at this point, with about 2 to 2.5 weeks remaining before we really need to have the information to the New York Forward people in preparation for the LPC meeting at the end of the month, I don't know if that proposal is even going to be able to happen because I don't have a path for us to get the building regardless of if we support it, regardless of if the LPC reports it. Hudson, do you have any other thoughts, comments that you've heard? Nothing since...
Nothing else.
Okay, so that's just kind of where we are with that.
Rob, one clarification,
Yeah.
I think on the municipal building proposal, I think what the committee had decided was that they kept on the table the front part of the building for the restroom renovation. I don't think that part actually came off of consideration.
The accessibility part.
I thought they had removed it because HCR had funding for it.
No.
Oh, that's really
that's
great.
great
To know.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Why-
straightening that out.
I'm just asking, why would you need another officer building, a town cop building, if people aren't really getting arrested, you're just getting a bunch of tickets?
Whoa! I mean, I understand what you're saying. There's a point in the meeting where we'll have things open for
Okay.
other topics, so
Thank you.
that will be
Appreciate it.
Sure. So thank you. I will confirm that. I'm actually glad about that. But I thought the whole thing had been taken out because okay. But I know the larger expansion has, and that's fine. It scored very low. And by the way, just to go off of the New York Forward, the next LPC meeting is at the end of the month, and that's likely either at that meeting or the following meeting where they will have all of the proposals ranked in their final plan. That's the procedure on that. Number 2, new website developments. Do you have that hard copy? So trustees, I've been working on this for probably about 2 weeks, on and off when I could. I sent this to you guys in email. I just wanted to have this here if you guys want to casually look over this proposal. Or this sort of starting point. Oh, yeah, that's good. I'll send it over there. Here, I'll move it over there. This is sort of my starting point for discussing how the new website, where are you, mouse? You're over there. For how the new website will look. I'll put this up on the screen. It's a lot less about how it's going to look in terms of the aesthetic of it, and it's more about the overall organization and how to access it. So if you guys want to casually just look this over throughout the meeting, feel free to write anything on it. What my goal is to do with this is to run it through you guys and get some comments, run it through each department head who has to kind of look at what we have on the website now, look at what we want to have on the website in the future. But the quick highlights are news articles in WordPress format that are specific to various departments and categories. I'm just going to scroll through this quickly. Notices in particular are going to have their own portion on the front of the webpage, so if there's a new notice that comes out, it's really obvious. A hidden banner at the top, so if there's an important message or an alert, that can be quickly activated and turned on, and not just by me, but probably by you. Maybe some other department heads would have access to that. And other notices like upcoming deadlines for bills, or casual updates like leaf pickup and hydrant flushing, those could be flashed at the top of the page, home page as needed. And then I talked about the very top of the main page, the banner that would go across would have a home link, make a payment, report an issue, which is one of the things that our website really doesn't have a good avenue on, and there's a bunch of different types of issues that we could report. These are just kind of ideas I threw up there. contact page, social media icons, a search, which we don't have on our website right now because we're not running off of, on WordPress. And for staff who would have access to WordPress, it'd be there. And then you'd have an overall organization of all of our pages into 5 different overall categories: government, departments, community, services, and then one of my favorites in looking over websites, how do I? So if you have a question, how do I pay a bill? You click on that and it will have a whole list of the things that people need to look for and ask about. So government pages, mayor, the various boards, access to agendas and minutes, election information, budget information, projects and grants that are active right now, things that we're developing in the future, and previous projects that have been happening in the past. So if anyone wants to know about, hey, why are we paying more, sewer money each month because we have a new bond? Well, it's because of this infrastructure improvement. You want to know what it was? Go to the website, there's some information on it. Departments, this is actually where our webpage is, I think, pretty solid. We have the majority of this already up there. It's just a matter of organizing it better. The community page is another really important thing to give us some history, to finally make a really solid events calendar, to highlight and advertise and speak about and provide directions to some of our public locations. To really trumpet some of our amazing annual events, which, by the way, hats off to Kevin O'Malley and everyone involved in the Walter A. Wood Tractor Show. Phenomenal event, phenomenal turnout, really, really awesome, really awesome. And then a page for services and information, so if someone wants to know, hey, when is leaf pickup this year, we'll have it up there. And then here are some of the ideas of things. If I wanted to find out from my municipality, how do I apply for a handicap parking permit? How do I contact various board members? How do I find local laws or zoning maps? How do I make a payment? How do I submit records requests or FOIL things? And then building in all of our PFOA information from the past 10 years almost at this point, and trying to give a general explainer and a history of it. Some of the main points, information on the GAC, current water source information, and data and testing. So feel free to add to that, promote thoughts on that. What I told Jeremy, who's working on our website, is that he's got this first version right now, so he can start to work on the larger organizational and coding stuff, and then we can work on this on the side and get that to him, and he'll just supplement it. So pass that along, take a look over as he needs to. What's my last couple updates here? New water source update. The majority of the construction is complete. They're at the point now where most things are being tested. There's standard tests like pressure tests for the various lines. We have 2 new pumps. Those have to go to the new, in a sense, building that was placed over there. Then it has to get sent to 22, down 22 and under the river into the current water treatment plant. So that's in the testing process. Once all of those things like pressure tests are completed, then it's a matter of getting all the information and samples to DOH. The DOH review typically takes about 6 weeks, although our engineers are saying expect it to take longer because that's just how DOH is working right now. But at the end of the day, barring any weird unforeseen circumstances, we're expecting to have the new water source fully approved, fully okayed by the state, online and operational probably near the end of January or early February. We had earlier been hoping by the new year, but it's construction, things happen, and it takes time. So that's pretty much where that is at, and the long-going UV filtration addition, ultraviolet filtration at the wastewater treatment plant, that we just got the bid advertisement approved, so that's going out. All of the bid documents I think have been prepared. Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong. It's all fully prepared. No, I think there's some comments going back and forth with one of the state agencies.
Yeah.
But that should be going out soon. The bids will be eventually opened after a few weeks by our clerk, our village clerk, and then once the bids are opened, they'll have a recommendation and review from Delaware. It will come to us, and we'll make our final decision on who gets awarded what. Once that happens, then there's a couple months of getting everything ready, and it looks like this project, which I feel like we started before I was mayor,
Yep.
and it was delayed for like years because of the Speedies permit thing, will finally get off the ground in the spring, and it should be completed by the end of 2025. Trustees, any questions on any of those updates?
Do we have to bond any of that?
The UV filtration, is that what you're talking about, the UV filtration?
Yeah.
I think, I feel like I feel like we've done some of that, Denise?
We have a $250,000 ban for the engineering piece.
But and the rest is covered under grant funding or?
Should be, hopefully.
Okay. Cause it's
Yeah.
a requirement, right?
It is a requirement. The reason we're doing this is because the state changed the requirements for wastewater treatment. So, as we love to say in government, it's an unfunded mandate. You have to do this. Good luck making money happen. Any other questions? Alright, moving on to the people to be heard section. Just as a refresher and reminder, a few meetings ago in the organizational meeting, we fully flushed out the rules for how people to be heard sections are going to work. So just as a quick review and as a reminder, we do audio record all of our meetings, that's right here. Public may speak only during the public comment people to be heard, or any other such time as the majority of the board allows. Speakers must be recognized by the presiding officer, in this case tonight that's me. Speakers, you don't have to step up to the front, this is a small enough room, you can just stand if you're comfortable or sit there, that's fine. You have to give your name, address, and organization, if any. You have to limit your remarks to 5 minutes on a given topic. I can limit the time if I need to further, but I don't think we'll need to do that. Speakers may not yield any remaining time to other speakers. Board members may, with the permission of the presiding officer, interrupt the speaker during their remarks, but only for the purpose of clarification or getting information. There's no requirement that the board member or the board responds and or has a dialogue with the speaker. Discretion for that is left to the board members with permission of the presiding officer. All remarks must be addressed to the board as a body and cannot be to any specific member. Speakers must observe the commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, and dignity and good taste. Inappropriate language should not be allowed. Interested parties or their representatives may address the board by written communications at any time. Presiding officer, that will be me, will find out who's interested in speaking. And just as a reminder, it's great to have sometimes back and forths, but that isn't always the best use of this time in a public meeting. Can I get an idea of how many people would like to speak this evening? 1, 2, 3. Alright. Karen, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Take it away.
So when you were just talking about the.
Oh, no, name and address,
I'm sorry. Karen from Morano, 115 Easy Street Extension.
Yes.
So when you were just talking about the property that's gonna hopefully be a park with the LPC,
Yes.
is it being smaller because of making it cheaper?
That's an easy question. I'll certainly answer that. This is the former Oak Mitsui project that you're talking about.
Correct.
We presented it in 2 options. One is a kind of smaller bare bones one that would give an entryway, a little benches and a little monument, a sidewalk to a bridge that gives access to the greenway. It's a smaller project, a simpler project, and with the time we have right now, actually that reminds me of something I forgot to talk about earlier, it just gives us a simple way to move that forward. We have a larger plan to include a pavilion there so that people can have a gathering place and sign it out and maybe have little parties there. Maybe we have other large concerts if we need a larger venue than all the concert settings we have now. We separately have already moved forward with a 15% design, which will give us a design for what we could do it there. And that built into that is environmental engineers who are familiar with the site, familiar with all of the things that have happened there, so that if we wanted to do a pavilion or if we wanted to do a sidewalk, they would understand that this is the work that has to be done, this is what we can and can't do to disrupt it, and that sort of thing. And I'm sorry, I'll give you the time back, I forgot to mention this earlier. Well, no, I'll answer, I'll let you, I don't want to interrupt your time, sorry.
So my other thing is,
Yeah.
have we gotten anything with the chief in town? I know we have an officer in charge, but what's going on with that? Because I just personally feel that, how can we have a chief of ambulance, chief of police, all being the same person? I know he's officer in charge, but I feel like that should be 2 different delegated positions.
Definitely.
So I was
Um,
just wondering, like, is that something in progress, is that anything, is that, you know, get what I'm saying? We as the people don't know what that means right now.
It's accurate.
So I'll sort of speak generically because there's things I can't sort of speak about or
Absolutely,
talk about in
absolutely. I totally understand
open
that.
session. Thank you. We have our police sergeant who's promoted last year to sergeant, who is our officer in charge running the departments. If the board wanted to appoint or create a larger leadership role, deputy chief, that would be up to the discretion of the board moving through civil service for Rensselaer County to do that process. Regardless of that, the officer in charge is the person running the department, so there's no question on that and legal authority
No,
on that.
absolutely.
So, that's kind of
But
what I
you-
can
you
answer.
asked whether the same person can do both positions.
Also, yes, is
So
that like,
the his
like
work
you can't
at
be the mayor and the chief because they talk to, like like the chief is, you're the next one up from the job, you can't obviously be that person, you get what I'm saying?
as mayor, there are things I would not be able to do.
So like that's what I'm just saying, like where's the line drawn
So-
on that, like will somebody eventually become the chief again, will we have, like, I think it sounds better when you show up at something and you're saying, I'm the chief of police, than I'm the officer in charge.
No, I understand that. If someone has dual hats and dual duties, like I am the mayor here and I am also a school teacher, if those worlds ever collide, there has to be an upfront separation and explanation of that. So, if there were ever something that would happen, the immediate communication would be, this is my role. I am doing this thing right now. So if I'm operating as mayor and they want to ask me a school question, I say I can't talk about that right now. I'm the mayor. I can't speak to that and sort of and that. So that has always been the approach, and that is how that dual thing, which again are two unrelated things, but they do have overlapping things, are fine and appropriate to be handled. It's just extra due diligence of saying this is my role at this given time.
Ron, can I make a comment on that?
Sure, please.
Just to be clear, the role with rescue squad is volunteer. It's not a paid role, it's not anything the village board has responsibility for.
No,
It's a
I'm
separate
aware
board
of that.
does.
Yeah.
Just
I
want everybody
appreciate
else to
you.
know that.
Yep, no,
Sure.
sorry, now I lost my train of thought, no, you're good. So my last question is, so if, I wanna know if things in town are like public knowledge, like,
Village or town?
I'm sorry, village,
That's
sorry,
alright.
I misspoke. Like, just common things like if I wanted to know when someone's court date was, or they wanted to know when mine was, is that something that we can look up? Is that just I can go down there and ask? I haven't had any issues with that, but I just wanna know for myself.
No, that's a good question. We have a court clerk, but there's only like one night a week where there's hours. If there's a question on court timing, I would probably direct it to the police department. Even I will ask a question about a case, but then I'll have to know, is this something that's public or is this something that I would only be able to know as the mayor?
Okay.
John, do you wanna speak on that anything more specifically about court times and what's public versus what's not, or how to find out, probably more specifically?
I know we gave you the.
Oh, no, that's why I'm
Yeah.
not saying I had a problem with that, I was just wondering if I'm allowed to just be doing that, or am I a nuisance for doing that, that's where I'm just, the question
That
I'm
would really
asking.
be up to, I mean, we provide you with the information, to my knowledge, the land clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, but then it's up to the court, cause the court.
If there's some sort of
gets
hearing
to
on a
decide
case.
things like that.
Are we talking, but there's like a million questions I could ask, are we talking about as a victim, as just a regular person, somehow involved in the case, I mean, there's rules depending on.
Right, you're
It's-
talking,
it's-
Karen, you're just talking about as a,
Like if that, yeah, like if there's a docket out there for, like, when I look up other
Like
courts,
on Tuesday the
there's a
third,
docket
so
that
and so
says,
and so and so and so and so.
right, correct ma'am, so I wanna know if that's like out there for common, like any Joe Schmo can look and see that this upcoming Tuesday, I
Yeah.
get someone can be arrested Monday night and not be on there for Tuesday and add it, or, but is there something that, like, when court ends
Sure.
and says, okay, now this week's our court?
That would be a court specific question I can't answer, and I don't have that authority very much on purpose,
So I should
separation
look
of
into like
powers.
Holly or someone like that.
I would definitely ask Holly.
Yeah, Holly or Jan.
We do know exactly when
It's
regular, Jan does,
It's
Jan's
right,
town
just-
court.
just Holly,
We
right?
do have online
Is
on,
Holly still Tuesdays during the day?
let me check, cause we have it online, but we do know when the regular court appearances are, just give me a minute and I'll bring that up.
can I have one positive note? How do I go about, like, I wanna make our town better, right?
She's
You wanna
away.
bring revenue, I have a lot of ideas on that, do I come to you? Do I propose for
What
a
kind of
meeting here?
ideas? Just briefly.
Like, I've been following an artist that's going everywhere, he started in Denmark, now he's here in the United States, I personally went halfway across the country to see them. But he makes it out of, like, recycled wood, he comes over here and it's like, we had special shells we wanted to bring, if he wanted to make a big flag, he would incorporate our community, but it would get people here, so if you're making this municipal building that's gonna maybe potentially someday have a bridge, why not have it to this giant troll that literally will bring millions
No,
of people?
it's a great idea, the reason I'm asking is because
like
the
to make
village
the-
does some things, and then we have an organization called Hoosick Rising that brings in lots of activities, and we promote the village and all kinds of stuff. You know,
Right, so
it's
should I-
Talk to Mary Ann.
Email me, I'll put you on our.
Deb, can you also be a contact for
Yeah,
that?
sure, you can always find.
Yeah.
I know where you are too,
Okay.
at your store.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
The other place would be to contact people at the Wood Block, because they have they're working on a performance space upstairs, and they do lots of art things, so.
Yep.
That might be a
Okay.
good connection, I can give you that number also.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2, you wanna go?
Yeah, I wanted to,
Name and address, please.
Oh, Mitch Faru, 149 Church Street, Hoosick Falls, New York, 12090.
Faru, wow. Alright, thank you, Mitch.
Yep. Well, I started out here because I wanted to go on about the new police force and how it seems like it's totally pick and choose. Pick and choose who you want to give these tickets to, who you don't want to. Because I've lived here my whole entire life. You know, I've painted houses across this whole town. And it just seems to me that there's a very big pick and choose who the police force wants to mess with. And I understand I was pulled over the other night and I got a bunch of tickets, but you know what, I'm not even on this discussion anymore because you know what, I'm over it. What I want to talk to you about is the water. You know,
Okay.
we've had this bad water here our whole entire lives. My whole entire life I've lived in this town. And how could you have even people pay for their water when you know it's contaminated and half the town, all the old timers that lived in this town their whole lives got cancer and died, and you still had to pay for water? There's nothing you guys could ever do about that? I know off the top of my head, I know 15 people that lived up on the hill in this town that got cancer and died, and we're still paying water bills, we're still paying extra money for our taxes. My taxes in the past year, my taxes went from $1,100 to $1,400. For what, school taxes? I have a fixed mortgage. For school taxes, come on. What is that all about? How do our school taxes go up all this money and our school isn't even secured? Our school ain't secured, kid can bring a gun in school. No, I got a 5-year-old son
They
in
did not,
here.
it's not true.
I'm just saying, no. My taxes have gone up.
But we don't have, I mean, just to be clear, we
$1,300.
don't have any control over the school.
Schools, that's separate.
Okay, well, the village government, like, has nothing,
Okay,
we have
okay.
zero.
Yeah, I'll just give you a
Yeah.
couple
No,
points.
just a little.
No, I
you know,
just
like,
wondered, yeah.
No, I got a kid in there, you know. It's like,
I
come
just wanna say, like, philosophically though, as it relates to the water stuff, I can't say that I disagree with you, like, on why should we have had to pay for
on. Why
water.
should we pay for that?
Right, but unfortunately, that's just not reality. Like, philosophically, 100% with you, like, totally with you. Reality, you know, when the company shows up to bring chlorine or whatever they do with the water, the chemicals, we can't say, well, you know, we've had some bad water around here, you know, can you.
For years.
You're not gonna be like, oh, don't worry about it, I'm gonna pay the bill. Unfortunately, you know, hopefully, you know, who knows what to find, so.
Well, that's when you get a tiger in charge. You get a tiger in charge, and tiger fights. That's what they do, you know. Like
We have
we've
water now.
had half quarter of this town die because of cancer and everything. It's when you get somebody in there that you know.
So just to offer,
we fight for what we've been dealt with.
Just
what
to-
we've been dealt
Yeah,
with
I
is
mean,
a bad deal.
philosophically, I'm with you, man,
You know?
just the reality of what's actually possible legally.
We do have
Okay.
clean water now.
just to like
It's not
the whole
contaminated.
reason I
I'm saying.
became mayor was to try to help with the water situation.
I know
so
that's why.
I
know
get
that's
you.
why got it.
On our website, if you go to testing on the water site, these are all of the testing results that are done on a regular basis that shows that our filtration system is working. And as I said before, the new water source should be online in early January. Just so you have that information. Anything else?
That's it, bud.
Alright, thank you,
That's
Mitch.
it.
Third,
My name is Samir Muhammad Ali. I own a Village Pizzeria and Deli. My address is either 53 Elm Street or 99 Classic Street.
thank you.
You can find me at either of those two places. So I wanna talk about the police department in general and find out how the acting chief, who
Officer in charge.
Can do his job if he has a record, and why the community isn't aware of this record, and how he proceeds to do his job. How can he testify in court? How can he arrest anybody, etc.? How does that happen? And how come the village residents are not aware of that? This is a FOIL request.
I fight him all the time.
This is a FOIL request, on Officer Hudson, who has.
Guys, hey, guys. Hey, excuse me. We're in a public meeting. Excuse me. We're in a public meeting. He has the time right now. That's
So
what we're gonna do.
I may be a dick, but the bottom line is that, we, the people who pay taxes, and I own multiple properties in the village, not one. I'm also a business owner. I provide 9 jobs to locals. Okay? I'm not from Hoosick Falls. I wanna know how the gentleman that we're referring to can do his job and do it legally. And why doesn't the village of Hoosick Falls know about this? And only certain people do. And apparently I'm under the impression that the village board and their attorney all knows about this stuff. So that being said, why isn't the village aware, the locals aware of this? Why are we doing 70 down a local street, where there's kids playing? Why is that even legal? Why are we spending money on cars that have 100 and something thousand miles on it and putting new decals on them? Why are we buying the officers new hats so they look like state police? Why are we doing that stuff? Why are we spending the money?
And people think that they're state police because so many people have
Wait,
said, sorry.
this is
Sorry.
Chico's time.
So my question is that if the board all knows about this, why do we have someone in charge handling the officers underneath him?
Told you why.
I'd like to know that too.
So I'm gonna.
I think you do.
Hold on, guys. Is
I
that
do know.
is that everything you want
That's
to say?
pretty much it, yeah.
I didn't write it.
So listen,
On the record.
I'm gonna say a couple things. I just want to make sure you're done with your time. You done with your time?
For now I am, until next meeting.
Okay. I'm gonna say a couple things because there's some lines things we can say and things we can't say. And I have a couple very clear things to say. Allegations don't mean truth. There's a bunch of things you just alleged I disagree with. I would be very happy to sit down with you and talk to you about this.
Were you there?
If you reached
Were you
out,
there?
the allegations.
guys,
Were you
guys.
there?
Chico that we
Deb,
already
Deb,
went
Deb,
through
Deb,
that.
were you
there?
He knows
Deb,
that.
Why are you so mad?
Were you there?
Listen,
Were you there?
if you guys cannot
Wait a minute.
handle
Wait
public
a minute, were you
decorum in
there?
a meeting,
Were you there?
if you cannot
So when
handle
you put
public
allegations
decorum in
on
a
my
meeting,
referring
I
to,
will
were
be
you there?
asking the officers
No.
to escort you out.
There's pictures
We have
of
a way that public
with a
hearings
dog
work.
going to train a dog.
You need
Don't
to
listen.
listen. We
Okay,
gave
go
you
ahead.
the time
Speak.
to listen.
Speak.
I am
Don't
going to
say
say
I'm
some
making
things now.
allegations. Because I didn't make this up. I didn't pull this out of my butt.
So listen,
Yes.
because you have made allegations, it does not mean it's true. Because you have read some things or seen some things on Facebook, it doesn't mean it's true. You just alleged a list of things from crimes you are supposing to things that people have known and have been hiding. If you want to sit
Does the
and-
village know?
Chico, listen.
Yes.
If you want to sit and talk about these things, I would be very glad to set up a time to sit down and talk to you about it,
Why do we-
like we have talked about things in the past.
Why do we have to do
Coming
it
to a meeting and alleging a bunch of stuff and waving some papers around doesn't
So-
prove anything, doesn't say anything, does not do anything more than, in a sense, put on theater. I'm
you-
very happy to talk details and
Wait a
facts to the line at which I can, But you just waved papers around. I have no idea what those papers say.
You could
You
have
know what?
That's just what.
I know you
listen,
are, but
listen.
you're more than welcome to read them.
That's
I
fine.
mean, I'm not hiding anything, I didn't
That's
pull them
fine.
out of my butt.
But again,
You know, they came from,
you
Look where
had
they
the
came from.
chance to talk to me about
Okay.
this, and you came to a public meeting to make a public
but
spectacle.
don't
That's
make,
your
don't
choice.
say that I'm making
You need to
allegations.
sit down.
Cause I didn't.
You just made allegations against what we did and officers and what we have said and not.
The board has understood that you knew
Chico.
that this was an issue, correct?
Chico, you
They
need.
knew.
You
Chico.
knew,
They knew.
you
need
knew,
to sit down now.
you knew. Just kinda like you knew about the other things that you slid under the table. Because that's what happens with this small town.
You need to stop, or you're going to be asked to leave.
What? This is a public forum, and what are you gonna do? Violate my rights? Go ahead.
We have asked people to
Violate
leave
my
who are
rights.
not
Go ahead.
handling
I
buildings.
dare you. I'll sue the
If you
village.
think it's a violation of
I'll
rights, you
sue
are
the village.
within your
You know
rights
I'm
to sue
right.
the village.
That's why you wanna have a private meeting. You don't want the village to know what's going on. You don't wanna know, you don't want them to know who you put in charge.
This is your last warning.
Okay, I know. It's my last warning, Mr. School Teacher.
Chico.
Go ahead, say what you gotta say. Call me a liar.
Well, she just called you an asshole.
Not the.
She called you an asshole.
Guys.
I know you did. I heard
Guys.
her. I heard her.
We
It's
have.
the truth, man. It's the truth.
We-
She just walked
we are
out
going
called him an asshole in a village board meeting. She said this guy's an asshole. She's out here commenting.
Guys,
All of you sometimes.
Liar.
listen. This
Remember, you're being recorded.
this needs to stop. Guys.
Everybody's speaking facts here.
Guys.
We're all adults.
This needs to stop. This is not a proper use of the meeting.
Put up front.
No, listen,
took it back.
listen. This is not the time or area to do this.
It's never the time.
Oh, it's
Mr.
no,
Mayor.
because we
Mr.
can't
Allen,
bring it open to the
can-
public,
Can
right?
I say something?
You can't bring nothing open to the
Can
public.
I say something?
Guys,
Can I say
listen.
something?
One moment.
Please, can I say something?
One moment. This is a public meeting. People can say certain things. I can't answer certain things. There are certain things I'm legally allowed to talk about and things I'm not legally allowed to talk about. These are not simple things. I can just quickly off the cuff be like, here's a bunch of information. Also, this is not the forum for this because as you have seen, we have a ton of other projects and things
So
going
where
on.
do we
Hold
speak
on.
about it? Where do
Hold
we speak?
on.
Because
Hang on, let him finish.
we're never getting heard, Mr. Allen. We never get heard. If you post stuff on Hoosick Rising, it's deleted. Everything's fucking deleted. Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
No,
To the
listen.
board, village, I'm sorry.
Listen. Listen,
Oops.
Steph,
Yeah, it is
Steph,
loose.
please, Steph.
Oh, she's
So
mad.
professional.
She's mad.
Listen.
So
She's
professional.
Superman.
Listen.
Holy.
Listen.
Holy. What's going on with town board?
Facebook
Holy.
is not something we
There's a
control.
FOIL request that I pulled
You're
out
all
the air.
on Facebook,
This is a
Mr.
FOIL
Allen.
request, this isn't
I
Facebook.
speak.
They're all dirty.
We are moving on
This
with
is
our
a FOIL
meeting.
request.
If you guys continue with this, with interrupting me and not listening,
FOIL request,
you will be
not Facebook.
asked to leave, and if that doesn't work, it will escalate. I do not want that. We're moving on with the meeting.
This shit will
There's escalated what?
welcome to that.
Marianne wants to speak, bro.
Yes, Marianne.
Hi. My name is Mary Ann Spicklebauer. I live at 73 East Hoosick Road, and I have a building in Hoosick Falls. I moved here probably 21 years ago, and I do have to say that the change in policing since Hudson has been in charge has been significant. I do believe that the extra training that he gives his officers shows when they're on the street. I find them to be helpful, I find them to be polite, well, I guess you get what you get. But I find them to be polite, they've helped my business, they've helped me when I've had problems. You know, the public outreach as far as attending children's events, attending the Halloween parade with 200 families in attendance and all the kids that are there. All of that interaction, Unity House, all of that has happened because of his leadership and the officers that actually work well with him. And I also, I find that, you know, it sometimes these feelings, particularly, you know, the feelings of the board, they can't sit here and disparage their own employees. They can't sit here and slanderize their employees, and they have to be dealing with facts. So I realize you know you have the facts, but Mayor Allen's right. You need to sit down with him, you need to share that information, and you need to go over that information.
He has it.
But to stand up and slanderize somebody in this community who has worked so hard, also, the money being spent, he wrote all those grants, that's just, and that has to be actually spent on those items. Those are grants that are written for specific uses. And so, yeah, he gets to spend those things on those items because he wrote the grants, he got the money, the village didn't buy them.
How many miles are on that car?
Excuse me, this is Mary Ann's time right now.
So, I feel like, you know, I understand that some people are upset, but you're somebody who's trying really, really hard and spending a lot of time to make this a better community. And I just think you ought to sit down and think about it a little bit. I appreciate him and the new officers that are here.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
I'm sorry, my name's Miss Rue. I got pulled over the
Whoa.
You can't.
My wife,
This is-
oh,
Mitch,
already
this
spoke
is-
your time, you have to write it down for next time.
Already had your
Oh, I'm
time,
sorry, I
we're
forgot about that.
yes.
Want a paper so you can remember?
It's how a public meeting works, sorry.
Wanna write it down so you can remember?
I'll write it down. Want to write it down?
Alright, and again,
Next week.
Alright, I'll write it down.
our contact info is on our website as well.
I have a question for the young lady that just spoke.
Nope, not right now. She had her chance to speak, that's her chance to speak. If you wanna ask her, you can find her later. Not in the public meeting. And again, that's not saying that you may or may not have legitimate points or questions. It's just, we have a meeting, we have things we need to take care of. These are the rules of the meeting.
Well, thanks for hearing me, have a great day, I'm gonna go run my business.
Thanks for not listening to us. Appreciate it.
This is not something you play with. This is for real. This isn't Facebook. My allegations ain't fake.
I'm gonna be asking you to, I'm gonna have you escorted out if you don't
You can
go.
ask me to leave, but my allegations are not fake. They're not made up.
I didn't say they were fake.
They're not made up. And the village needs to know.
You need to
The
be
locals
done now.
need to know what's going
You
on.
need to leave now.
I'll leave when I'm ready. You throwing me out of here?
Yes.
You're gonna violate my rights?
I am not violating your
Then you're
rights, but I am
violating my rights.
asking
Then
you
don't
to
ask me
leave,
to
or I'm
leave.
going to be telling
Okay.
you that an officer will be escorting you
The sketchiness that
out.
happens in the village of Hoosick Falls has to end.
Chico,
There's a lot of crap that goes on amongst.
Chico, you have violated the rules. You need to leave, or I'm gonna have an officer escort you out.
Talking about taxpayers, Bob, Ryan.
You have
yeah,
about
you.
10 seconds to exit the building
And
before an
what are
officer
you gonna
escorts
do?
you
You're gonna
out.
have me arrested?
I've already explained what's
Are you
going to
gonna have me
happen.
arrested, yes or no? Cause I'll call my attorney right now, we can figure that out. Cause I have one, Mr. Rob Allen, who lives on
Sergeant
Huntsville
Hudson,
Street,
can
who
you
doesn't have
please
a
call an
finished house.
officer and have him escort Chico out?
Chico.
Just remember that,
I'm not having you arrested, I'm having you escorted out.
I lost you, well, you're with them, and you know it. That's bullshit, Deb.
Is there an officer out there? Thank you.
Honest.
Alright, that was unfortunate. Sorry about that. We are going to move on to, ironically enough, the police report. Where a lot of the things that were talked about are actually in the police report. Sergeant Hudson, take it away.
429 calls last month. 17 arrests. 4 of those are domestic related.
There are copies of the reports up here in case anyone doesn't have it, or are we out?
We're out.
We're out, okay, I'm gonna have it up on the screen anyway.
Sorry.
Sorry.
All the license plate readers are and in-car cameras that were purchased through the grant have been installed and are operational. We participated in the Touch of Truck event at the City Library. That went very well. Word Scout actually donated ice cream to the event. We handed that out to the kids. We also took place in the Coffee with a Cop that was sponsored by Storts last Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
The Walter Wood Show, that was, I think it was probably one of the best.
Hi. Missed a good time.
Apparently. I think it was probably one of the best Walter Woods, with attendance.
It was amazing. I drove by like 4 times and it was just everywhere. It was awesome.
Kevin and I had a discussion, it wasn't as many tractors as normal, but the attendance was, pretty phenomenal.
It was.
It was great Sarasota, so.
It's a great event.
So he did a great job on it, but it's not all over.
Trustees, any questions?
Just on the August, the rest was 70, that's a lot for us, right? Is there any?
17,
Anything
that's.
that ran through that?
The, LPRs became active.
License plate readers.
License plate readers became active as well. The officers are out there.
John, can you give us some more information about what the license plate readers allow you guys to do or do better, more efficiently?
So the license plate readers, we use them for investigations, of course, for problematic areas. If we think there's illegal activity, we'll put the portable one in a certain area, we'll track plates, things like that. It helps us with that investigation.
Mm-hmm.
All of them also track suspended vehicles, expired vehicles, stolen license plates, stolen vehicles, missing persons, wanted persons. There's a list, and we share our data nationwide, as well as many agencies nationwide share their data with us. The hot list, which is where all that alerts are pulled from.
Mm-hmm.
We get the New York State hot list, so we get all that data from the state police. So as soon as somebody's entered as missing, I think it's updated twice a day, the hot list is.
Okay.
So it gets updated into the server, and then it gets pushed out to Chicago.
Alright. I know each month we have the mileage of the vehicles. I feel like I did an addition problem wrong, because I feel like we have 2 vehicles over 100,000 now. I gotta check that math. Give me well, I'll you guys can keep talking, but I'm pretty sure 505 I forgot to update the number on the left. Let me just check my email on that. Anyway, you guys, any questions for Sergeant Hudson?
505 has 104,855.
Yep, this is the last mileage, and I forgot to add this number to it, the 6,000 from this past month. So it's our second vehicle over 100,000, and our third is on its way soon. Woo! Okay. Any questions for Sergeant Hudson? Alright, looking for a motion to approve the police report?
Motion.
Thank you. Need a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. All in favor?
Doug.
Doug. Jeez, I don't know.
D.
The 3 Ds. I always start emails with all 3 Ds. I get them right out of the way. Dan, Doug, Deb, right off
It
the
used to
bat.
be Rob, and Rob.
I know it. Anyway, all in favor of approving the police report? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Thank you, John. Code enforcement report. Mark. Anything you want to highlight?
Answer any questions, if anybody on the board has any questions? Typically on my report, I do try and highlight some of the stuff is repetitive, so I will make anything that's new information bold. Try to
Mark, 97 Classic Street is now for sale. So is that still an open code case?
Yes.
97 Classic. That wasn't the gentleman who came up. No, that was
that's 59 Church. That's 59
That's
Church.
Between me and Chico.
Any cases that I open up, unless they've been corrected for the most part, they stay.
Okay.
There, at some point, will be a property search, chances are, when the buyer comes along.
Mm-hmm.
They do that as part of the title search, and usually a title search request is put into the, to our department.
Yep.
Through Olivia, and, I will disclose any of the cases that are going on.
There was one I wanted to highlight, which it was awesome. A burning issue fine. I know that people have had a lot of complaints about fires and size of fires. It was great to see that a call was made. I don't think you were around when the call came in, and one of our officers took photos, made a report, got it to you. That made it to court. That individual got fined. I'm not excited that someone's fined. I'm excited that people have been.
I think the good part about that is that's cooperation between the police department and code enforcement.
Yeah.
You know, the police department did what they were supposed to do, they submitted the information to me.
Yep.
I issued the ticket, and the guy in the end ended up being.
Yeah.
After a warrant was issued for failure of appearance. Then he was issued he did end up paying $100 fine.
That was just, I know that people have been complaining about fires because there's certainly certain sizes and amounts and times in the village you can do that, so I was just glad to see all of that happen, so. Any questions for Mark?
We're still sending out letters about the junk cars and all that stuff, those are going out?
Occasionally.
Okay. When they need to? You think?
Well, stop in to see me sometimes, there's a lot going on.
I will, you weren't there the last couple times, I'm sure you were out, you know, whatever.
So there's.
I'll come by.
We have gotten some taken care of.
Yes, we have.
Good, no, that's good.
It's moving. Good. Anything else? Looking for a motion to approve the code enforcement report. Thank you, Deb. Need a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bobby. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Trash report. Denise, anything you want to highlight?
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory there. I did have two other things to add. One being the tax anticipation resolution for tonight.
That's on the agenda. Yep.
Correct. And we did make some headway with our local bank. We've been receiving some pretty excessive bank charges. And in conversation with our government rep, we have been able to get some of those fees knocked down.
Good.
Excellent.
Very good. Thank you.
Probably a credit of about $379 a month.
Wow.
However, we have had, I believe we had 4 to 5 vendors last month not receive their payments that were sent to them.
In the mail.
Yeah.
Because snail mail is kind of a mess right now.
It is a mess. And so I'd like to initiate the positive pay fraud prevention, which actually I think when I spoke to you, I gave you the wrong amount. The ACH portion of it, which when an ACH comes through, I would receive an email to either approve or disapprove. That's gonna be $20 a month per account, but we really only have the one major account. And then we also have a positive pay, which is for paper checks, which would entail downloading a file from QuickBooks for every check that we write and uploading it to the bank. We're still in the process of dealing between QuickBooks and admin stuff happening. But even with those charges added on, that's only a total of 45 additional charges a month. So we're still ahead.
Jasmine.
We're still ahead.
Okay.
A good amount of money from the bank charges.
Okay. Regarding those fees, that's we found out that it's not common for municipalities to get fees from banks, and that is where the big change came from. So thank you for pursuing that. Questions?
Just the payroll. We did, Brett and I and staff met with GTM yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know, I've got my days.
For about 2 hours and got a demonstration, and we were all quite impressed by it, by the efficiency. It would require a lot on our part to be organized around our personnel policies and benefits and whatnot, but it appeared that they can meet a lot of our needs and our diversity.
Good.
We have a meeting tomorrow, or Friday I should say, with paychecks. We'd like to get this up by January 1st, which means that we need to start working on it, whoever we choose, in October. So I'd like to ask if we could get approval for you to sign off, or how we would do that so it could happen. I would assume by Friday or Monday we would know.
So this is a payroll service. They've had a meeting with one group. There's a second meeting coming up. They're gonna have a recommendation. What's the quickest way for us to approve that? Can we approve it ahead of time? Can we authorize the mayor to?
I haven't seen anything, so I can't really, I don't know if there's paperwork that needs to be signed, if there's a
There's no contract.
There's no
No
contract.
contract
No
at all?
obligation. You could do it in 2 weeks if
And
you
there's
want.
no fees associated with it?
There's fees that are taken out by payroll. Yeah, that's, we're getting a quote on that. And then we'll get the second
Once we
quote.
have it, I can weigh in, I think.
It's a professional service, so actually, when we look at the bidding service, it's a professional
Yeah, it
service, it's
shouldn't-
outside of procurement.
Right, well, it's outside of having to go out to bid, but whether or not you have to do a motion, or if it can just be done.
We could do it over,
You might just be able to say, if the amount's low enough, you might just be able to say it's fine.
okay. Alright, so once we have all the information, we'll make that decision.
When
Worst
we-
case scenario, I'm sorry, Deb,
I was gonna say, can we do it over email if we do have to have a,
we could do it over email and then retroactively do it at the next meeting,
Yeah.
so it's on
I
the
mean,
record.
we're all on the same
Or a
page that we
special
want,
meeting.
it's just a matter of which.
Assuming whatever the fees are probably are low, it's, I can't imagine that they're high, but.
Yeah.
And you can buy additional services in this one, but we're going for the basic payroll.
Okay.
And then staff would be trained, it's good, it'd be very efficient.
Yep. And this would be just getting us support on payroll, freeing up the office for other things. That'd be great. Alright, so yeah, as soon as you guys have the second meeting, was it set Friday? And then you guys have your recommendation, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And just so I don't know, for the police force, which has their own time check system, you can download that into Excel and it interfaces with the system.
That's great. Awesome, thank you guys for doing that. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there, so thank you. Denise, anything else?
That's it.
Okay. We do have later in the meeting the tax anticipation note resolution. We could jump to that now if you guys want. It doesn't bother me either way.
I'm ready to scoot out, does anybody have any?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we did it now, so Denise could.
Yeah, sure.
I don't need to see her, but I didn't know if there was any questions.
Oh, it's in Word. It wouldn't open up as a PDF.
Denise, can I see that?
So we have a situation which fairly commonly happens because it turns out we're not a village loaded with money. There are some seasons where our the balances we have, we're waiting for revenue to come in and we may not have as much cash flow as we would like. So we can take out what's called a tax anticipation note, which specifically cites how much that we are expecting to have come in. When village taxes aren't paid, it gets re-levied to the county always makes us whole, it's just a matter of that process takes 9 months to a year, depending on the season. So we have a resolution delegating the village treasurer, the power to authorize the issuance of and to sell, not exceeding $340,196, tax anticipation notes, to be levied, for the 24-25 fiscal year of said village. Do I need to summarize any more, or is that fine for the record? Okay, great. I'm gonna skip down to local financing law. The amount is not to exceed $340,196, which is what we're missing in terms of revenue from village property tax. Lots and lots of stuff about she gets to do this and it takes effect immediately. So I need someone to offer the resolution and second it. Offer Dan. Second Brett. Did you see me get the names right there?
Thank you.
My pleasure. Alright, any further discussion or questions for Denise? Hearing none, roll call vote please, Olivia.
Trustee Sauer, trustee Walter.
Yes.
Trustee Shetty.
Yes.
Trustee Hanselman.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
And Mayor Rob Allen.
I'm a yes.
And trustee Laurie is absent.
Alright, great, thank you. Any other questions for Denise? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Motion.
Thank you, someone.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Alright,
I know, I wasn't looking at it.
alright, perfect.
No, it was
Did you get those?
in my own.
Yeah.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Any other questions for Denise? Thank you, Denise. Thank you. Alright. Village clerk, deputy clerk report.
Nothing other than what's there.
Any questions, thoughts, comments? I have a question for you.
Okay.
This came up in the website organization thing. I was trying to think of all the services that you guys do have. Transportation tickets, death certificates, handicap stickers. We're discussing FOIA requests and property searches.
Yeah,
Which
property tax searches.
I am gonna need from you guys a full list of what services are offered, so if people want to do X, they know where to go to and want that website. So I just wanted to say that's coming.
Okay.
You don't have to answer it right now. I was just thinking about that. in regards to that thing out there.
I would.
Yeah, sure, fine.
One of you guys, somebody had mentioned that death certificates are impossible to process because they're have to be done on a typewriter, is that what you guys said? Because of the nature, like it can't be.
In the old, the archives.
If somebody needs a copy of an old one, you have to
yeah.
physically type it.
From, I believe it's 1884 to 1918, we have large.
Huge books.
It's, yeah.
And so what do you take the information from there, you would have to type it onto a
At this
modern
point, we have to
computer.
handwrite it, we don't have a typewriter any longer.
Well, I was thinking if we could get them, I mean, you can still get, I'm a typewriter guy,
Yeah.
I have a typewriter still.
Not that we get that many requests, but when we do,
Maybe we can.
They still make typewriters?
They do not, Bobby, but they still make ribbons for even 100-year-old ones, believe it or not. Complete with a correction.
Are you thinking about a scanner app?
No, I'm thinking about just like literally a typewriter.
Oh,
You can get, I know a good one, and you can still get ribbons for one and just.
Or we can use the scanner app.
Oh, I was under the assumption that it had to be hand typed into the.
I don't know the
handwritten.
rules on it. I mean, I would imagine you can just scan something with a phone and make it a PDF and everything's happy.
probably, possibly.
We'll find out.
No.
I'll
If
test
not-
it.
If not,
Typewriter.
find us a typewriter on Facebook Marketplace, please. You have it? That's fantastic. It doesn't surprise me at all.
I would like to add, as long as I know this is coming up later,
Yeah.
but our tax search fee has been $10 for forever.
Yes.
And it really, people try to skirt around it any way they can.
Yes.
You know, title companies, Olivia's been barraged by one man about 5 times this week that even the $10 to get something certified to state what's paid, what's not. It's time consuming, and
Yeah.
it really is time for the amount to go up a little bit. I mean, it's not even like we really collect that much money, unfortunately.
We have that-
really need to start being stiffer on it.
We have that discussion in new business. I would love to hear and get a thought on how we wanna change and how we wanna set that. Do we need a resolution for that to we motion a
Do it by
resolution?
motion or resolution, I always prefer resolution, but.
So we could do it for next meeting unless you guys had a,
Let's do it, let's do it next meeting, cause there's other fees that we need to look at at
Yes.
a time.
yeah,
By and large, where we can do it, they should pay for the time that we're investing in taxpayers'
Yeah.
money
Right.
to do it.
yeah, it's
It should come out
Or a
easy.
per page.
There is an hourly rate.
yeah,
That's what we're
Somebody,
talking
it's
about,
the
yeah.
amount of the
Minimum,
lowest.
Lowest.
lowest employee, yeah.
which I think would probably be our like part-time typist office data entry person and probably that. But yeah, to Doug's point, it's not only taxpayer money, but it's also taking time away from other things.
Right.
So it would make sense for the taxpayer to be made, in a sense, made whole for that. Important services, without question, but you know,
So we'll look at coming back with a recommendation.
yes,
In time to get a resolution.
yeah, for November. That's great. Unless there's anything else, I'm looking for a motion to approve the clerk report. Thank you, Deb.
Second?
Thank you, Bobby. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Thank you. Kenny. Or Bobby. Highway report.
Kenny, all you, man.
Denise will be happy to hear our loader's coming back tomorrow.
What's coming back tomorrow?
Our loader.
I was gonna ask you that, I was gonna ask you that when I saw
They
that.
called me on my way down here, Capital Tractor called me tonight and said that.
That's good to hear.
Kind of ironic.
That's good.
I'm dropping it off tomorrow.
$1,500 a
good.
week.
We're
18.
gonna, paving is still on schedule for Friday for Mechanic Street.
Vouchers.
Monday
Woo.
first, they wanted to do
Woo.
First Street on Friday, but garbage pickup is in the second ward on Friday and it would just be a nightmare. So I got them to swap it around,
Oh, that's fantastic.
so we're gonna do,
So Mechanic Street Friday and First Street on Monday.
yep, I'm gonna hand out flyers again tomorrow.
I'll put that up on Facebook as well.
So that's the only 2 streets we're paving, Kenny?
Yes, we
They're
we
huge
have
stretches,
been
but
spot
yeah.
Oh, I
paving.
understand.
Yeah.
We have been spot paving, the last couple days, we're gonna continue doing it tomorrow, down by you, we got those on, where Pat did that house on.
Oh, on the corner of Fifth Street
Yep,
and,
we're planning
yeah.
on doing that, we've got some patching we gotta do next to the pizza place where they put a new sidewalk in.
Who's doing the one by just past Hill Road by the Alliance Church? It was like our
That
water
was-
line break, but it's outside the village.
That was us, we fixed that today.
Oh, perfect.
So
Okay.
that's done.
Yeah.
Pretty much, that's it, I guess.
Cool. Any other questions for Ken?
Yes,
Yes, Deb?
just a quickie. Maggie Kinney, you know Maggie's huge, huh?
Yes, that is not our light pole, it belongs to National Grid.
Okay, I looked for a number today on it.
Which
and I
light
couldn't
pole is
find one.
this?
We're right in front of
Maggie
Maggie's.
Beauty Salon, the one we talked about the other day.
Yes, Maggie had emailed me about it as
Yeah,
well.
and me.
Yeah.
So, I looked today and there's no, where are the numbers? At the very
So I
top?
believe
Call to me?
I call,
yeah,
National Grid.
she calls National Grid to no avail.
so I can call them tomorrow.
That
We're
would
trying to
mean-
look for a
They
number.
they
There's
can
no number?
they should be able to tell us the number,
Should
I
be
give
able
them
to.
the street and everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Are there,
I
are there,
think the
on the other
past
poles,
three
are
clerks
there
have called
numbers on them?
They're supposed to be, yeah.
Do we have a
People come
list
to me and tell
of
me.
a bunch of ones that are out that we keep reporting?
I've reported a couple and
Can
people
you
came.
email me
Maggie
that
says this
list?
has been out for a couple of years,
And
so.
people came back in and said that it hasn't been fixed yet.
Can you
Yeah,
email
they-
me that list?
And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, National Grid's terrible about coming back to
Yes.
repair.
we have that one light pole that got broken in the storm last year,
Mhm.
just past the park. That we've called it about and they've never done anything about it.
Who owns the strobe light by the wood block?
I got it, don't worry about it.
Get me
Fix
the
Oh, you did?
phone
Yeah,
number
it's
as well.
fixed.
Yeah.
It's time to throw the mayor title
Part of
around
the
and get
dance
pissed
floor.
off at that because this is ridiculous. It shouldn't be taking years to get freaking light bulb fixed by National Grid, especially when they've been in here
Well,
doing.
especially, it's not like they're not around the community.
They are too,
Yeah.
like
They're
someone will
camped
come
out
in and be
here.
like,
They're
they're
doing
here right
everything
now,
else.
can they go
Yeah.
fix, I'm
Yeah.
like, I just
Yeah.
have to call.
No, remember when the tree fell in my yard and took a couple of poles down? There's still new poles, there's still in my yard. Because Verizon, no, so AT&T has to call Verizon, who has to call this one, who has to call that one.
Yes.
That whole thing with the sidewalk in front of the Immaculate Conception just drove me. Every time I drove
Yeah.
by it, I just like was seething.
Well,
It was
it's still,
so
it's
ridiculous.
still by the church basement,
Mhm.
that's still,
And even trying to figure
It's
out.
rounded off, but I don't know why. They
Yeah.
did the concrete. They just don't come back and pick up
It
their
was,
stuff.
No.
and then it was National Grid, but then it was Verizon because they had to wait for this and then this.
Yep.
Insane.
right, isn't that right, Kenny? They
Insane.
won't remove
What
the
happens
old
when there's
poles
a
don't get
monopoly?
removed until Verizon takes all their stuff out. Aren't they the
Yes.
last ones to take everything off?
So it would still be on the sidewalk in front of the Catholic church, all their stuff, except for, old Jerry.
Old Jerry.
Took it all and threw it out the street.
Can you thank Jerry
That's what Ramon's gonna do, he's just gonna
on
cut
behalf
down
of
and
all
throw
of
it out.
us because I was so mad about that.
Ramon's gonna
Alright.
do that in our yard, he's just gonna cut down what's there and the heck with it.
Yeah.
What did
Yeah,
he call,
I-
he called him up after it was in the street and said, come.
Yeah, well, we
There
had
could
to
be
figure it
sparks
Tell me
coming
go
off
to
it.
my house.
We scored some new cones. Cause we picked it up, but, yeah, so, I mean, it's just a nightmare, and, you know, I asked National Grid last year, and they said, well, you have to wait for Verizon, you know, Verizon, you gotta, you know, and then we try to follow up with Verizon, and they're just.
Well, guess
You
what?
have to have call Verizon, cause that's the last one left on ours,
Yep.
and they say, you can't get to them unless you have an account number. I don't have any Verizon account numbers, they just use the pole that's next to my yard.
Right.
Well, the streetlight situation will be going away soon.
Hopefully,
Yes.
Yes, it will.
And we also
I'll be letting
replaced the streetlight that got hit on the beginning of Mechanic Street, we replaced that, and then I just had Bradley's Friday when we fixed the dance floor light on John Street, we put the new globe and
The
stuff
new
in
globe on Mechanic Street.
Did you call that the dance strobe light?
there. Yeah, it was strobed up that long. It was cool.
Yep, I remember. I
It's
remember.
like a dance club there for years.
And is driving by it.
And then, we've got one more in front of the liquor store, the Hoosick package store,
Okay.
to do, but it's just, scheduling is tight, is hard to get with Bradley's, and we try to do it early in the morning because we're right on 22 with a bucket truck up in the air, you know, traffic, school buses, so we're gonna get that one, that was the last one we have.
Well, yeah, hold off on that one.
Why?
Debbie, get another one?
Yeah, and just one more thing, Kenny, if you and Mary Ann and I should probably sit down and talk about Christmas, like really soon, Christmas
Sure.
decorations. So let's, if I forget, one of you guys will
I mean,
call.
we've got the lights to put on the poles,
Yeah, do we have,
you know, the garland.
and, okay, and but are we doing any more, any less, I don't even remember where we left off.
We're gonna do what we have, I know that we had electrified the rest of the poles that the village owned, and then we never ordered any decorations for them.
Okay, so if we got more, you
We
can put
gotta
up.
be like all the
Okay.
retail stores, you gotta do it.
So just keep talking, so we don't, sometimes. we wanna do that.
I'm
Thank
coming
you.
down to get my new hat pretty soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotta make it by hand, because I keep having the way I want them.
And
But
the
you'll
other
get
thing
it,
is,
you'll get it.
the banners will be coming down after
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, and we'll probably take the American flags off at the same time while we're up there.
And we have a,
That makes
a
sense.
safe
That
place
makes
to keep
sense.
them, or do we have?
The banners are going back to the Legion.
So you missed this earlier, Deb, but Chris Farley at Hoosick Falls Central reached out to the village asking if there was a way that in the off season when the banners come down, there's a way to put them up somewhere in the school. He's kind of brainstorming this. I knew that we take it down and put them back up, but really it's the American Legion who owns those, and there were families who paid for them. So I'm late in getting an email out to Tammy Schnoop and Tom Peabody about that, but that's kind of a topic that's coming, and I know that Chris Farley and both Ray Conley in the elementary, they put on really good Veterans Day assemblies for the Friday before. So
Yeah, I
it's
just wanna make
possible,
sure that
but
it's a sort of a safe place, not
yeah,
just.
but that's
off somewhere.
we
Which
do.
is what I would do in my house.
We help them with bringing it up and putting it back down, but
Yes.
that's their
Yeah, no,
stuff.
I know, I just wanted to be safe.
Awesome. Anything else for Kevin? Looking for a motion to approve the highway department report? Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Bobby. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Sewer report. Kenny.
Same as usual.
We like that.
Yep. You know, we seem to be making some pretty good money off the waste dollars as
Yep.
of late.
Yep.
You know, we just keep it going, I guess.
Sounds good to me. Any questions for Kenny?
Nope.
Looking for a motion to approve. Thank you, Deb.
Second?
Thank you, Bobby. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Great. Water report. Dan, anything you wanna highlight?
No, nothing for that, anything specifically there, other than the fact that, Kenny, maybe you know some about this, going up Scott Street, I talked to Josh the other day, you know, we keep repairing that water line going up, I was up there the other day looking to see what this water line looked like, I was curious.
Probably 12 times this year so far we've got there.
Yeah, it's been a ton this year.
Problem is that we've reached a point where we can't repair it any farther because according to those guys, there is the, I think it's Honeywell or whatever, there's monitoring wells that we can't disturb. And there's houses beyond that, those monitoring wells, as I understand it, it's gonna present a real problem. If the water lines break, distal to, let's talk like medical stuff now, distant to, those monitoring wells, and according to Josh and Jim, they're not quite sure what they're gonna do, cause they can't disturb them or something like that, so that's problem number one.
One solution to that is we are using plastic pipe, so we could go out around them if we had to.
Okay.
You know, one way or another, whether we go on, you know, encroaching somebody's lawn or go out into the street. The problem we have is the water lines are very deep up there, and at one point in time, they were logging all the, up on the hill, and so we had all these log trucks coming down, you know, and the water line's 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet in some spots, and it's plastic. So we're trying to get it out of the road, in case that ever happens again, we're trying to keep it off to the side of the road. But we are limited, we can only replace 100 feet at a time per day, per Department of Health. And if we were to go in and, I'm sorry, Garth, go ahead.
No, keep going, sorry.
If we were to go in, we had looked at it a couple of years ago about replacing that, and it has to be, I think, either 4 or 6 inch ductile, and there has to be a hydrant every 500 feet if we were to replace that, and it has to be engineered, you know, this is per DOH. So if you're looking at like $1 million, it's crazy.
Yeah, we built this into that large Delaware engineering improvement project. It's a lot.
Is that main big enough to feed a hydrant though? I mean, it looked like a very
Well,
small
you
main.
would have, it's only 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches right now, you would have to, when you.
Replace the whole thing.
When you replace it, it has to be replaced with 6 inch line.
Yeah, you can't feed a hydrant on this from my former life or whatever, you can't feed a hydrant.
Then it would be able.
Dan, where are the monitoring wells on Scott Street?
I'm
They
not
are up.
entirely sure, but I can tell you where they were the other day.
They're up towards the other end, towards the dead end.
The top?
By Cusons, by, no, you're at the right end.
Right up here?
You're at the right end.
Here's
Dead
School
end.
Street.
Here's where it broke the other day. Am I right, Kenny, right here, because we were right in here, right?
Is that still in the village or just outside of that point?
It's outside.
It's outside the village, as soon as you go past the corner, you're outside the village.
This is the village line right here?
Right, no, as soon as you go.
The first house on the left, is it still in the village, I believe it was, used to be Bay White Davis.
No, keep going, one more, right there, there's the house right there on the left,
Okay,
right there.
okay. I will say, I didn't know about the monitoring wells as a thing. We have had a lot of success talking to Honeywell and Saint-Gobain and saying this is the situation. We can figure out that it's gonna cost X amount of money to help with the engineering for this, and they typically are like, yeah, we'll help you with that. So that actually is now that I know about that, that's a conversation we can have and include DEC on it.
So.
Nothing's
like,
ever simple
3 or
anymore.
4 years ago, we got a call on Good Friday, Honeywell was out there digging the wells and they put it right through the water line, that's where that goes west.
And
That's-
Kenny, there's
that's
only how many
fantastic.
houses on there? There's like maybe 8, 9 houses?
10.
Is there one up here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some,
2,
3.
3, 4,
I don't know how
5.
old that picture is, but Eddie Granger just built a new house.
He built over on the other
So
side.
about 10, 9.
Yeah, so there's
already
probably
there
10.
that was on
10.
fire though, it was existing.
What's that?
That was already there though, it was burned down.
No, he built
No,
a house.
he built a new
Oh,
house.
yeah, there was across from.
Okay.
Anthony.
So yeah, there's like 10, but that's
Yeah.
a pretty long stretch.
But it's a lot of money for 10 houses.
What does that say? Is that 200 feet right here, that line?
Oh my god, it's,
Yep.
that road's quarter of a mile long.
Yeah, it's easy. It's an easy 1,500 feet.
Yeah.
Holy crap! For 10 houses, and that's easily $1 million project. Easily.
Yep.
Even fire hydrants are like what, 10 grand each or something like
Probably.
that. It's
Yeah.
crazy how expensive they are. It's crazy. Well, 2024. Yeah. All right. Oh, I want to go to reports.
Yeah, the other thing is that Kenny and I were talking about this at the beginning of the meeting. The EPA is requiring us to identify all potential lead service lines. It does not need to be an actual lead service line, as in like the pipe that comes into your house. As a matter of fact, Josh had told me that he has never actually found a true lead service line coming into a house. There are some galvanized ones out there, but he has not found a true lead service line. However, as Kenny, you probably know, there is a ton of goosenecks.
So the actual piece of pipe that comes up out of the main line in the street is lead. It's a, they call it a gooseneck. So it's a lead elbow that is usually, they used them because they were cheap, easy to thread, you could press them if you had to. You know, and obviously now, you know, it's no good, but, what would you say, it was like 1,200?
There's, yeah, I think when I talked to him the other day, there was, I think, don't quote me on this, 1,284 properties in the village that could not be positively ruled out as having no lead, whether it's a gooseneck or whatever. So, couple things, one, believe it or not, we're gonna have to dig almost every street in the village, and tear out all the goosenecks. He did say there is $1 bazillion of funding out there for this. But it's gonna require, I mean, this is gonna be a major undertaking that we cannot do with our staffing level here. There's just like, we're gonna have to contract out, the work. So the bigger issue is that, once those, addresses are submitted next week to the EPA and to the Department of Health, a letter has to go out to all the homeowners in the village. And the letter is either gonna say, we, you know, based on, you know, recent construction or whatever, we have identified that your property does not have lead service lines, or it will say that we cannot identify, therefore we think that you have lead service lines, because it will be the worst case scenario. You know, the letter's gonna be worded in a way that makes it sound like, you know, you're swimming in lead. So I think what we need to do, before those go out, and I'll talk to Josh about it, I'm happy to do it, is we need to get out and inoculate the public before this goes out, so we don't have a situation where we have people reading this letter and believing that they're you know, drinking liquid PB. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that the information just needs to go out and say, look, these lines have been in the ground for, you know, many years, and the EPA is requiring us, and if yours cannot be identified, it's going to be identified as lead potential.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether there's no lead at all, there's not gonna be lead in a lot of these, but they're gonna assume worst case scenario and more information to follow, so we don't have a mutiny of people that feel that.
So we're fairly confident that the newer developments in the village don't have them. That the whole Route 22 corridor that was redone doesn't have them. But, you know, Second Ward, Fourth Ward up in the hills, you know, we can't be sure.
Yeah.
You know, that's unfortunate.
We know up on Easy Street, we know these
Right.
places, we know there's no lead up there, right,
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah. And again, like, anytime we talk about lead, it's always scary. We have requirements where we are checking our village water source for lead, and I don't think we've ever had it hit above any threshold for that. So we know that there's not like any lead problems actively that are being measured, but it's still the fact that EPA is requiring this.
Speaking on behalf of my wife, the materials engineer here, that the lead in the water lines is not as unsafe as people think it is until there's a problem. So lead forms a coating, it forms an oxide, water flows through it, no problem. My understanding of what happened in Flint, Michigan was to save money, they dealt away with the buffer, and so the pH of the water changed. That eroded the oxide that had formed over the years and exposed metallic lead. The acidity of the water then pulled lead molecules off and basically leaded the water.
Yeah.
So as long as the lead lines are stable, you shouldn't be getting any lead even if you have lead service lines, but we cannot take the risk that something accidentally happens and all of a sudden we've now descaled any lead connection in the village and we suddenly have.
We've talked about the EPA or sending out sample kits that we're gonna do, and everyone can send their samples, get a sample, take a sample of the water, send it back in, just for, to calm people, to calm fears. I don't know what that kind of undertaking would ensue, there's been discussion of that too.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I just think we need to get, just informally, a public service announcement out there that, listen, you're gonna be getting this letter. We have found a few places with like goosenecks around the village, it's a small connection and they're all gonna be removed, but at this point, more than likely, you're not drinking a diet of liquid lead.
So, and just to kind of tie this back into this and to Rogers Avenue and to Scott Street, we did have this whole huge proposal from Delaware Engineering. In fact, I just found, do you remember that painfully long presentation we had? From like a year or two ago, it was just so painfully long. Well, anyway, this was one of the things that highlighted some of the changes that would happen and places where the assumption would be made that those gooseneck things would have to be changed. We could, as a board, knowing it's going to be like a $7 million project, we could pull the trigger on it. We haven't because we know that's expensive and we've gone for grants and we haven't gotten them. But if we pull the trigger and go through EFC to get the funding, somehow magically, the way the game works is that makes us more likely to get grant funding later, so we have to put forward the risk to do that. So this is possible that we could decide, let's move forward on this anyway, knowing that in a couple years this will end up coming due and we'll have to make some financial plans on how to pay that off.
There's no harm in doing so.
It's just that we know that in a few years we are going to have another bond payment or something, or some larger expense, because even if it's let's just say $10 million, because it's not a $10 million project, but let's say doing these things, replacing the Rogers Avenue Ashley tank, let's say that's a $10 million project just for ease. We put it forward, we get funding through EFC, which gives us a tax-free way to get that paid back over time. Then we go for grants and maybe 25% of that or 50% of that is covered through grants. We still have the other rest to go, so that could be a $5 million expense. So it's huge pain. So I may circle back with Robert Flores and just double check numbers and get that out to everybody again, just to kind of consider, and we can discuss that further at the next meeting. Does that make sense? Alright. Yay, more expense. Okay. Any other questions for Kenny? Or no, or water stuff. Any other water questions, comments?
I don't have any, that's right.
Alright. Looking for motion to approve the water report?
Second. Motion.
Motion, second, alright. All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Alright, carries. I'm behind on getting the newest GAC filtration samples up on the website. If you ever see that they're behind, reach out to the village office and I can just quickly get them to you on email. We just got another one like a couple days ago, and I think there's going to be a GAC change out again coming in like a month or two. Kenny, do you know if they have scheduled another change out?
I don't know what it is.
Alright, it's coming. It's at this point it's just kind of regular business, but it's still important to know. Woo! Minutes, September 11th, regular minutes, meeting minutes. Any questions, comments, changes? Looking for motion to approve.
Motion.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Dan.
No, Ken.
Brett, thank you. I'm just gonna call everybody Fred from here on out. Alright. All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Trustee committee reports. Alphabetically. Deb Alter.
Sometimes we have to go alphabetically backwards, okay? This is like the story.
I can do that, but she's not here. Anyway, go for it, Deb.
I haven't really got anything. I was just gonna talk about Maggie's streetlight, Aaron's all set to do the gazebo, he just needs money. And he gave me that's what I gave you.
Do you wanna get that approved then?
Yeah, oh, do I have to approve that right now? Did we already approve it? Or did you need to see this?
Did we budget for this already?
Yeah, I think so.
Christmas
We talked about it
We
last
did.
meeting.
We put it in the
It's in the budget? I don't think we need to figure
don't
it
need to
out,
vote.
it's already in the budget.
Yeah, we have a budget line.
Right, we don't need to.
But we don't need to
Okay.
approve it
No.
officially if it's already in the budget.
I just didn't know,
Okay.
are you gonna get
Right.
that back to me?
Can I see that for a minute, Deb? Can you pass it over? Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Under 800. 800 labor. Yeah, we're fine. Just thumbs up. Go ahead.
Okay.
Cool. You guys. What's that?
Let me
Can I
take
ask
it
you a
back.
question?
Sure.
Maybe I should need to ask you separately, but is this going to him first?
Yes.
Because I should be filing it and probably disclosure as a member of the zoning board,
Oh.
just for ethical stuff, the state law probably allows it, that requires it, just as a heads up.
Alright, why don't we have them do that before?
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a state law requirement just to ethically put out there he's connected to the village zoning board, so check with Elena, or Elena will send us an email if he has to disclose something, just saying he's part of this because he's a zoning board member, he's doing something separate, but he's also connected to,
He's Verizon, he's doing it.
was it being paid directly to him or is it being
Yeah,
paid to
because
his
otherwise
bride?
it's just transfer money to
It's
transfer money.
literally a state financial disclosure requirement.
It's just,
It's not like it
it's
can't
just,
happen, he just has to disclose it.
yeah,
Oh, so just a
He's a
letter
member
that
of the
says,
zoning board.
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
he's like stating he's a member of the zoning board, so that he's,
But he's acting independent.
yeah,
right,
Okay,
yeah,
he's
I
not
can help,
acting.
there, you have questions, I'll help you with
okay, thanks.
yeah. Same thing when I'm at school and I have to fill out the, what are other things you could be involved in, well, I got a thing, yeah, okay. Anything else, Deb?
Transfer station. I am resigning my position, and we need to make it official.
Yes, I have that on the agenda.
I will give you Matt Curley's phone number, so you can have that conversation with him that you wanna have.
Thank you very much, I do, and I'm sorry again I didn't get back to you.
He has said that, he told us that, according to our contract,
No, according to the DEC authorization.
yeah, the DEC authorization of our transfer station, that's exactly what it was. We are not supposed to be taking anything from the town, we're only supposed to be servicing the village.
Anything outside the
No
village.
permits or no permits, we're not supposed to do it.
We've asked him for proof of that, and he just gave us the authorization, but he hasn't given us.
He gave us a little blurb that was.
That
copy
all
and pasted,
said,
so it made no sense.
I understand that Neil Stoll had known that, and actually, Preble knew that.
That we weren't supposed to be doing that?
That's what I've been told.
That would be very surprising to me.
Yeah, I don't, so would it be beneficial to have the village attorney look at what they sent us?
I would very much
All they
like to
sent
look
us
at
was the
that.
authorization of it, and
It
it
does-
doesn't exactly say you can't serve it, it just
Right.
says you, it's the municipality, it does say the municipality.
It's weird that out of all the conversations we've had, that he's just sharing.
I know, but see, that's a
Very
weird thing, I've been
curious
talking to him
about
for
that.
2 years
Said
about
it was a wink and a
fees.
nod, and you know, as long as you're getting away with it, it's okay.
Is
it-
No,
No,
I
I-
have specifically talked to him about fees
Yeah.
for town, fees for
Kenny, what's
village.
that?
I said, I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah.
But I wonder,
Go both of us.
he does want to come up and talk to all of us
Super
about.
weird, right? Super weird.
he does. What's he wanna talk to us about, Deb?
Sorry.
Thank you. I have a sticker that says I'm speaking. I got it out, so I'll bring it out if I have to. Yeah, in 2 years that I've talked to him about fees for the town, fees for the village, charging this for them, charging this for us,
Mm-hmm.
he never mentioned it. So I have a feeling, Mark, that he's trying to get you guys to come into the authority. I'm just saying, it's just a guess, just a feeling I
I
have.
mean, that all
Sounded-
goes back to.
I felt a little bit like that, I don't know.
That dates back to the Don Bogardus years.
No.
So I know nothing
Yeah.
about
Okay.
that, I don't know, it just felt a little bit like that, but I don't know why he never mentioned it.
Part of
But-
me is like, something's fishy here, and part of me is wink wink nudge nudge.
We've been doing
There's
that
been
all
a
over.
fair amount of history that we've been trying to get away from that, so we'll do our due diligence to figure that
Okay,
out.
but he would like to
So-
come to a meeting, do you wanna talk to him, or do you wanna talk to him and then decide? next
I'd like to
time,
talk
or-
to him and then bring him to a meeting, absolutely.
What he has said is that he wants to have us to have a conversation at his board about this.
Well, yeah, he wants us.
Which I think is probably the best thing to do. I'm the representative, let's have a board, we'll meet with his board.
Do you know when his?
He has, there's 6 meetings a year, I think, and I think they're every other month, and they're in,
Next one
someplace I don't
probably
wanna go to.
December, it's in
they're
Melrose.
Melrose,
Okay.
and,
So I
I'm not
think,
going, so.
let's have his board, not him,
Okay.
have that conversation.
That makes sense.
And we need to travel to them.
And we'll do our due diligence before that meeting to figure out whatever the heck there is being.
I will
okay.
add to the conversation just
Please.
to say that Matt is fully aware that we've always taken
Oh, yeah, he says
outside
Oh,
the
yeah.
village.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been
He's
selling
not, he, yeah,
permits for village
Yes.
residents and
Yes.
so.
Forever.
20 years I've been with the village.
And he's never brought up the fact to me that it was all, at all unallowed, illegal, anything to that extent.
Weird.
But you would think though that if you do get a permit, it would have to have some kind of defined geographical area, right? Otherwise, if we were to do a transfer station, I'm using an extreme example, but what would stop us from getting garbage from 100 communities around to make money? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you would think they
No,
would
I
have,
get that. Yeah.
Most things, like a fire department has a defined area, and it's a defined
Right.
area, a village has a defined boundary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's almost like the authorization, if you read it, that it says it grants the municipality to do it. It doesn't have to say you can do it beyond, or just saying that means just
For the
municipality.
residents, exclusivity, yeah.
I mean, it came up when I asked him why was the town not a part of the authority, and that's the response he gave, and he gave the history of the town going out.
Okay. Interesting.
He's made the comment to me prior, in the invoices in the bills tonight. The per capita that we pay to go on
Yeah.
to Iswama, you know, that we're kind of covering the fact that we allow people outside the village to come in. So, which.
We'll get to the bottom of it. I firmly believe that that's an important service that we
Right.
provide.
Well,
to
we
the
let them
village
come
and
in,
the
we
town.
also charge them, it's not like they're coming
Yeah.
in for
Well,
free.
We're looking at, we're not charging for what it costs us.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that,
So we need
but-
to revise
Oh,
those
the
fees.
fees, for sure.
And it comes back to, we have to be responsible with our taxpayer funds, and even though it's an important service, if everyone's doing it on the cheap and we're paying for it, then the village is overly paying for it.
It's an
Yeah.
operational cost.
I'd like to be part of that meeting
Okay.
That'd be great, Kenny.
for the, the meeting, yeah.
That's smart, yeah, that's a good idea.
No, it's unacceptable.
I mean, I'll come over enough time.
Alright, Deb, since we kinda jumped into the Urswama stuff and new business, do we need an official motion to accept your letter of resignation
Yes.
from Urswama?
Yes.
Is that a,
He
he
needs
needs
it.
it, alright, so I'm looking for a motion
Whatever we do
to accept the letter of resignation, from Deb as just as the Urswama representative, not as a village
I'll make that
trustee.
motion with regrets.
With regret, Bobby, thank you. Second,
Still have a shot, still have a
second
chance.
Dan,
Tired of overseeing the garbage.
further discussion, all in favor with regret?
Aye.
Not with regret.
Not with regret.
Opposed or abstentions? Alright, carries.
And we need appointment.
Can we also have a motion to appoint Doug Sauer to the
I will-
important, glorious role of Urswama representative? Deb
Do you wanna make that motion?
has made it.
I did.
Okay, I'll second
Bobby will
that.
second. Further discussion. Thank you, Doug. Blessings to you.
Thank you, Doug.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Thank you, Doug, very
Oh,
much.
look at you.
Thank you, Deb,
So
for
proud
your
of you.
We're gonna make
amazing years of service to Urswama. Great. Anything else, Deb, for your report?
No,
Awesome, thank you. Trustee Hanselman. Did you guys win?
We did in overtime,
Yes.
2-1.
Yes.
It's the best 8 minutes that they've played all season. For
Yes. Go
Very
team.
fun.
That's great.
But other than that, no.
Alright. And then, okay. Trustee Sauer.
You skipping over me?
Apparently I have you at the end, or I don't know how to do alphabetical order.
Oh,
I'll
I
come-
know, no, I'm looking at the
I'll come
agenda
back
has
to you.
me on there.
My bad.
Next, that's why I
Doug,
have to
sorry.
go
Just
to
the New York Street store.
Yes.
Application, and,
Um,
It's the first year.
it's $1 million, you can go up to $1 million. Jason for the building there was looking for 450 or something thousand, he says there could be other projects. If
Yes.
we wanted as a board to put them into that.
So
that might be something we wanna talk to the LPC about.
I'm trying to find my notes on it. So Restore New York is open back up. I very much want to do this proactively with Jason. I'm already behind and owe him an email. The letter of intent is due near the end of the month. I want to get it done this week or early next week. To at least get the letter of intent in, especially in time for New York Forward. And the more we get done, the better the application works for New York Forward. I'm trying to find my notes on the call. We did the seminar, the online seminar, which was good and helpful. I just can't find it right now. But yeah, that's very much in the mix. And I want to support that. Anything else you wanted to add, say about that? All right, Doug. Bobby, sorry, I skipped over you.
No. I just want to touch base on the RTE LED streetlight update.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, I received correspondence last week from the representative. We had a price for the getting receptacles on 4. We had a price on 5 of the poles, but come to find out, we only own 4 of the 5 poles, so one of them we can't use.
Okay.
So that's a price of $731.25 a piece to put the receptacles in it. We can roll that into our LED streetlight project without a problem. His question was, the first mobilization would be that, and then they also we have 32 poles that we already own, the decorative pole, 29 decos, 1 flood, and 2 Cobra lights the village owns. And they're not affected by the National Grid buyback at all. And they wanna know if we would want to go ahead and start moving forward with that. The 32 locations for the first mobilization will need to be confirmed by the village. He said, he sent email correspondence from last year noting the fixtures are owned by the village, and it's a little bit outdated, but it's 100% sure the village owns all the fixtures. And he sent an attachment with that. So I need to get back to him with our board decision. And on the other note, on Friday the 7th, I received an email from Kevin Simmons, our representative from National Grid, who we submitted our buyout package to. And he said everything has been filed and everything's in process. So that was the one you had to sign, Rob. There was 2 like 50-page documents that you had to sign, and they signed. And so the deadline was actually today's date, October 9th. Our quote with National Grid for the buyback was expired today. So we're under the deadline. So the project's ready to move forward. We just wait for the National Grid process to take place.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to get board authorization to go ahead and start getting. That's why I said, Kenny, hold off on that one, because that's one of the lights we own in front of the I believe, right?
Yeah, we just gotta change the bulb.
Right, yeah, so, but it's gonna be, so everything's gonna be, as soon as possible, we'd start.
Does that mean if we start making the switch, we'll have access to the smart controls as well and can start using that system?
I'll have to ask that question, that's a good question.
That would be an important.
Because for only those 32 poles, I don't know that.
If we can have access to the smart controls, I would actually love to start with a smaller amount, and then we could learn the system. And that's something I'd like you to have access to as well in the office. It would allow us to basically have computer controls for a lot of our lights.
We can make them all dance.
We can strobe light on John Street just like the other one. But no, having control on how much light is put out there is a huge thing. Setting time, getting immediate notifications, not having to wait on National Grid to fix it. Good lord. Yeah.
I mean, we've already agreed to move forward with RTE, so I just wanna, and I don't think we need a resolution or anything, do we? I wouldn't think, because this is just.
So if we can get the smart controls, I'm all for it. The other thing is, if they're moving on that, can they also move on the new poles, or do they have to wait on that?
He again, right then, we didn't do anything because of the National Grid, but the new poles shouldn't affect the National Grid either.
Okay.
But we didn't give them, you're talking the ones down here on Waterworks Road.
Yeah,
right?
we gave them the poles.
Okay.
They have that.
Okay, alright, I will follow up with
As
that.
a reminder, part of the streetlight project, we're adding lights down here because it's so dark on some of the poles, so that's what we're at now.
So you do not want me to change that bulb?
No, go ahead, Kenny, no, it's only a light bulb, I'm not worried about it. I was only joking. I will call them in the Bruce tomorrow and email him and ask if we can have the smart controls are on that, which I can't imagine they wouldn't be, because that's the first part of the project, so.
Yep.
I'm surprised they're still making things that don't have things like smart controls.
Yeah.
Well, the individual lights on it, and it's gonna be all controlled by the, by the laptop, you'll be all controlled, each one from.
That was such a huge feature for me. Oh my gosh, to be able to do that, it's fantastic. Especially with LEDs, cause sometimes they're just too stinking bright.
Right.
Oh
And
my
that's
gosh.
well, we also had to go decide which
The colors,
number
the
of
color
lumen, the
temperature,
color we
yep,
wanted, so.
yep. No, I'm glad we spent our due diligence doing that. Anything else, Bobby?
No, that's all I have.
Alright, Dan.
No, just I already went over the
Okay.
snack waters.
Alright, we are all set with that stuff. We've actually done a lot of the other stuff. I had this in old business just because I want to keep it there. I don't have anything new to add to this conversation about looking ahead and considering our 3M spending money, except that, which we haven't gotten the first installment of the 3M settlement money yet. I'll make sure that we know that when it does come in. It is supposed to come in before the end of the calendar year. We built into the resolution request that the resolution to bring in Sterling Environmental to help us understand all of the numbers and data around the new water source and cost of infrastructure. We built in that money will be specific to, will be paid for by the 3M settlement money that's coming in. But do you guys have anything else you want to add or question about this at this point?
No.
I'm just gonna probably leave it up there as a placeholder. Alright, new business, we already discussed this, we're gonna work on a plan and have it ready for November. For FOIL and property search fees, right? Alright, so that's done. Deb, we have a local law to add a
Yay.
stop sign. So, for our students here, the process of a local law is very exciting. It needs to be introduced formally and seconded. Then we have to set a public hearing for it. Typically, we do the next board meeting, but it doesn't have to be that long away, but we do. We hear from the public, and then the village board decides to officially pass the law, table it, or just scrap it completely. So, we have, for your viewing pleasure, the most complicated local law in history. That's it. There's a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of Hoosick Falls to allow the placement of an additional stop sign. The stop sign will be located on Abbott Street, southbound, at the intersection of Abbott Street and Wilder Avenue. That's the law. Proposed law. Easy peasy. Deb, would you like to officially introduce this law?
Yeah, let's pass this law so nobody gets hurt.
Fantastic. Need a second? Thank you.
Is there stop signs on the other?
Yes,
Yep,
yes.
it's a three-way stop. It's
My
a
only-
three-way
Stop right now.
Yeah,
It's a
it's,
three-way stop,
Kenny.
and it is extremely.
It's the weirdest thing.
That's why it
I
takes a
can't say
four.
how many times
Yeah.
I've come to that intersection and seen someone coming and going, oh,
Where
there's a
is it?
stop sign.
Where is
I'm
it?
going,
Where
and
are
you're
you?
like,
I know, because if you don't know,
I'm gonna
you think they have a
kill
stop
somebody.
sign.
The idea of a three-way
So-
stop is silly.
Right here, right?
So-
yes, right on the left, yeah, right in the corner of your
Right.
arrows.
If you're coming.
When I'm
Front
coming
of
up
Terry's
Wilder,
house.
it's on the left side of
If you're coming
Abbott,
from Parsons, you don't have to stop.
the other
Right.
side of
In
the
that
street.
direction.
I'm sorry.
Right there, right your arrows now,
I think
right
Right
there.
here.
It's in
Yes.
front of Terry McGuire's house.
There's a stop sign on this side.
Terry
Terry
Burdick.
Burdick.
Stop sign on this side.
All four corners.
We have them already.
Except that one, three of the four. Hey, Kenny, the only thing, it seems it's a new stop sign, how can we make that more, can you like put an orange flag on it
Yes,
for,
so
when you initially put it in to make people understand?
We put up, stop signs, years ago, Abbott Street didn't have any stop signs on it. You could just fly right down Abbott Street. We put stop signs up and we put orange flags.
Right, okay.
Yeah, perfect.
That just, it seems a new one, and I know it's been that way for so long, just don't,
And then we
don't
can
anybody
make
get
it,
hurt.
maybe make an announcement somewhere so people
We can put
know.
it on, we can put it on.
And then maybe some warnings before we get tickets.
They got some of them in Bennington that flash.
Yeah, right by the sandwich shop, right on the street sandwich shop.
They're like LED, they're illuminated, they're LED, they flash when you come up.
Say stop, yeah.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
So, strangely enough, you can't just add a stop sign. There's actually a procedure that involves a new local law to put a stop sign up, unless the stop sign already exists in law and
got
just
tore
needs to be
down.
put back up. So, it has officially been introduced and seconded. We need to set a public hearing. So, if that's all right with you guys, I'm looking for a motion to set the public hearing for our next regular board meeting, which is November 13th. Does that work for you guys? Dan, Deb, second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed or abstentions? Alright, carries. Public hearing on the very complicated local law number 5, proposed local law number 5 is set. Awesome, that's it. Next thing, we did our SWAM on the transfer station, so that is done. So we have a resolution, authorizing the mayor to execute a retainer agreement with Sterling Environmental Engineering PC. Let me put this up on the screen, and again, we use Sterling Environmental for a lot of projects, including the work at Monument Park, including the landfill and most of our PFOA related stuff. This resolution would authorize the mayor to execute a retainer agreement, whereas a new well field is being constructed south of the village with a well house and raw water transmission pipes, whereas this construction of well field infrastructure is being funded by third parties pursuant to an agreement with the village. However, the village will be responsible to operate and maintain the water system improvements once they are completed. Whereas the village has received a proposal from Sterling Environmental to develop a detailed estimate of the cost to operate, maintain, and replace the herein referenced system components to include labor, subcontractor services, maintenance, supplies and chemicals, replacement, activated carbon, etc., and will also examine the anticipated useful life of the infrastructure to factor in future replacement costs over an evaluation of 100 years. And whereas outside legal counsel to the village recommends that the village enter into a retainer agreement with Sterling Environmental to engage the firm to perform the above referenced analysis as a professional service. Again, this is so that we understand exactly what the additional cost will be to the village and make sure that we are made whole in our discussions with the companies. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees that this Board of Trustees does hereby authorize the mayor to enter into and execute a retainer agreement with Sterling Environmental Engineering, PC, as more fully set forth in the agreement attached hereto and made a part hereof, at a cost not to exceed $20,000, such cost of which will be paid for and reimbursed with the 3M settlement monies which are coming in. So, I need someone to offer the resolution. Thank you, and Deb, you want to second it? Alright. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Sauer.
Yep.
Trustee Alter. Yep. Trustee Shetty.
Yes.
Trustee Hanselman.
Yes.
Trustee Waller is absent. Deputy Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Mayor Romanek.
I'm a yes. Excellent, thank you. That is all I have on the agenda? No, that's not all I have, sorry. Oh, Denise was gonna beat me up. We have a resolution, did we do this already?
Yeah,
I know, we did it already. We did it once, yeah.
I was
Yes,
right,
we
I
did
may have
it.
done, okay. Do you guys have anything to bring up in the business and regular meeting?
No, I just wanna, Brett, can we, or Brett and Rob, can we like work this winter on getting a plan for the fourth ward playground so in the spring we can actually
Yes.
do something?
Yeah.
Can we
Very
just,
much,
amongst the three of us,
yes.
make that a fact?
Once our
Very
program
much
is done,
yes.
I have a lot more for
Huge yes, huge amounts of yes, thank you. Alright, hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to enter executive session. And by the way, just as a quick thing, we're just adding language so that we're specific to what public officers law section we're doing for public executive session to discuss potential future hiring decisions with no business to be conducted at the end of the executive session.
Motion.
Bobby's made the motion, Doug's made the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed or abstentions? Carries, alright. Students, we will do signatures now. The regular session of the meeting is order. We're entering into executive session at 7:51 p.m.